Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. So someone requested I make a video, and I tried to accede to the requests of my innumerable faithful viewers. He wanted me to do a video about organ donation. So this one's going to be a debate, as is my wont. All right, so this House believes that subject to an opt-out, organs of the deceased should be public property. I have an awful feeling I debated this a few months ago, but I can't quite recall. All right, so as is customary, I shall commence as the proposition. Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the House, we propose that the organs of the dead become public property subject to an opt-out. So this is our model. As soon as a baby is born, or even during the pregnancy, parents can fill out a form saying we consent or we do not consent to the organs being used for donation. They could even pick which organs they would do it, and try not to make it too much of a dark imposition. So they think, oh, your baby's going to die, but that's that. And so basically the parents have the opt-out until the child is 18, but it's done at birth or even before. Obviously, adults can then pick whether they want their organs to be donated in the event that they die and the organs are usable or not, and which organs they would consent to or not. So that is that. If someone doesn't attest either way, then the presumption is that the state can just take everything they need for the purpose of giving people the organs they need, the transplants they need to keep them alive, livers, hearts, lungs, whatever, even a cornea, that's a lens in the eye. Obviously it doesn't keep you alive, but keeps you seeing, or using the body for medical education, experiments, things of that nature. So the state has the right to oblige you to do things. So the state is the public. It is saving your fellow man. You don't need these organs once you're dead, and there's somebody else whose need is greater than yours. It would be perverse that we should just take our organs with us to be mouldering in the grave. I think the worms are going to have to do without us, or indeed burning ourselves in the crematorium at hundreds of degrees Celsius. So be humane, be compassionate, save your fellow humans from beyond the grave. We've got to care for the living. Endless agony can be avoided. So there are not enough organ donors coming forward. The other thing is people who need organs to be donated, they have to live in whichever city really near the hospital, because if somebody dies, you need the organ fresh, you need it fast, and the person who's to be the recipient has to be in the hospital within, say, an hour of the other person passing away. So the dead don't need them, and dead people don't have rights anymore. That's that. We can avoid suffering and premature deaths. We should do it. We're morally obliged to do it. Anyway, what do we do with the dead? Sometimes people, when they're just found to have died, they've got no next of kin, they are used for medical education, dissecting cadavers and so on. And people are buried, and then sometimes we dig up their bodies and examine them as archaeologists, or just move the bodies out of the graveyard anyway. You see these skeletons in museums, there we are. So the opt-out is there. If you find all this upsetting, you can make sure that you or your child will not have this done to you. So that is that. For reasons of just common humanity, I urge the House to support this long overdue motion. Right, so now I am the opposition. Madam Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the House, we oppose this dreadful and scurrilous motion for manifold reasons, which I shall now outline. It's unethical, it's unlawful, it's disrespectful of the dead and of the living, and it's creeping totalitarianism, and it won't save lives. So, you know, if you and your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever it is, you and a significant other are awaiting a baby, the last thing you want is your obstetrician or whoever it is to come and say, ooh, and what if your baby dies? Especially if it's a completely healthy fetus. We don't want to be faced by that. How off-putting. No, get it out of my face. We know it's a possibility, but we don't really want to have our noses rubbed in it. And then at any time, and also even before the age of 18, it should be for the adult to choose. What we have is an opt-in system. People can choose to fill out a card and carry a donor card in the event that they suddenly drop dead, and then their organs can be used. Grieving families and relatives, they often want to be able to have a proper funeral to mourn with the dear departed, not to have that person snatched away from them before this person's even cold, and then butchered up to have their organs put into the body of a complete stranger. If somebody has chosen to do this, well, that's another matter. but then you just can't have a funeral in most cases. So some people are low intelligence and don't know what they're agreeing or disagreeing with. How about people are compos mentis? The paradigm alluded to by the previous speaker did not even provide for that eventuality. And young people don't even think about it, whether they're going to die soon. So some people are too slow to make up their minds. So it'll lead to people being killed for their organs. I think so-and-so's got a healthy organ, let's just bump her off and then we can get the organ because we know that's that. She hasn't opted out. And it's frightening, this level of state control. We would escape the state even at death. Even that doesn't emancipate us from the clunking fist of the state, which would be ripping the organs from our deceased corpse and giving them to whoever. No. And do we want to endlessly extend life? I think not. All right? We die for a reason. It's our duty to shuffle off this mortal coil and make way for the rising generation. We don't want people to just be cannibalized for spare parts. We can make these organs synthetically. We can use pigs' organs and so on. There's no reason to dehumanize people and use them like that as a natural resource, harvesting their organs. The very idea is macabre and deeply disturbing. This is like the Alder Hey scandal. It's redolent of that when that doctor from the Netherlands in that hospital in Liverpool, he was taking all sorts of tissue from dead infants and getting up to whatever, a hocus pocus with them. It's like being a sorcerer or something. So it's revolting. We shan't have this. So, and that is why I urge the House to vote down this repugnant motion.